A man is running towards the shore. Behind, 2 guards are chasing. He's about to swim 1.4 miles to San Francisco Bay. A guard takes aim. Another failed escape. 34 tries, 34 failures. If a real breakout is ever going to happen, it won't look like this. No gunshots, no chaos. Instead, a plan so genius that nobody realizes that it's underway right now. Frank walks into the lunch hall. Last night, he had a breakthrough idea. This is his 2nd year inside. Abandoned as a child, he slowly drifted into a life of robbing banks. He takes a seat next to Alan West, a man he first met in another prison. Frank, we tunnel through the vents. How long will it take? Asks Alan. Couple of months, but it leads to that corridor, Frank responds. They speak quietly as the guards watch from afar. Both men were transferred here to serve out their sentences because they'd already escaped from every other prison that had tried to hold them. Frank, but this is only the first phase. After, we must build escape equipment in secret. Only then can we break off the island. If the plan succeeds, history will be made. Alcatraz has been designed to be inescapable. Even if you get past the guards and patrols, you still have to swim over a mile in freezing waters until you reach land. Suddenly, a plate crashes. Heads turn. Frank slips a spoon into his uniform. Planning without the guards noticing is easy. But now comes the hard part. Every chip in the wall incriminates them. Dust chippings coat the floor. Frank has been digging for the last 3 hours straight. But after doing this every single night for the last 2 months, he's barely 30% done. Frank hides his spoon in his musical instrument and covers the digging with a mixture of toilet paper and soap. Then, it happens. Guard inspection, everyone out! Frank quickly grabs his concertina and places it over the vent. Frank and Alan have been individually digging their own tunnels, alongside the new additions of their team. The prisoners file out. Frank looks straight forward. A guard approaches Clarence Anglin. Show me your cell, he demands. Frank's pulse quickens. If Clarence did not cover his tracks, the escape is over before it has begun. Clarence and his brother John Anglin, sentenced for bank robbery, are the newest members of the team. With just 2 tunnels, discovery is unlikely. But with 4 men digging, the chances have increased dramatically. The guard walks inside. Clarence's tool is hidden in his accordion. The patch covering the start of his tunnel is still wet. He flips the bed and strips the pillowcase. A long pause. He locks eyes with Clarence. Clear. Alan is looking worried. His digging has not been covered. It's fully exposed. The guard starts heading directly towards him. If one person is missing, the prison will go into complete lockdown. Then, he says it. Inspection over. Frank walks back into his cell. The 13th head count of the day is complete. The guard's search was lazy, but next time, it won't be. One thing is clear. If the tunnel continues to take this long, they're in serious trouble. Every extra night brings them closer to being caught. They need to speed up, and fast. Loud chatter fills the lunch hall. Frank leans into Alan. I know how we can dig faster. Each member of the escape is selected for trust, but also their unique expertise. We need to steal a motor and electrical cord. With this, we can make a drill, says Frank. What about the noise? Says Alan. Don't worry, I have an idea for that, replies Frank. Inside Alcatraz, every prisoner is assigned a job, a way to earn better food, small privileges, and even reduce their sentence. Alan, a repairman, often gets broken gear. Today, one of the items he needs to repair is a vacuum. In the workshop, Alan opens it up. If he declares it as unfixable, nobody will give it a second thought. He locates the motor, then slips it into his pocket. Electrical cords are stored in another part of the room. He walks over, scanning. Nobody seems to be looking. He grabs one. Stealing a motor and cable is not hard, although the same can't be said for the items they will need later. The work shift ends, and prisoners head back to the cells. Alan sees Frank. "Hey, take this." Frank walks back to his cell, tense, not for fear of being caught, but because everything depends on this. If the drill works, they can move much closer to building the escape equipment that will allow them to break free. Later that night, while everyone is sleeping, he fixes a piece of scrap metal to the motor. Using an electrical cord, he attaches it to the wires inside the ceiling light. He turns it on. Suddenly, a prisoner shouts, "Who is making that noise?" Frank quickly yanks the electrical cord out. The motor is too loud. Alcatraz has a strict rule of silence in the cells. Even the faintest of sounds become noticeable. Right now, it's impossible for Frank to work. He needs a way to use the drill without being heard. Alan begins softly playing his concertina, its notes drifting through the cells. Nearby, Frank pushes the drill into the wall for the first time. Chips and dust build up on the floor. It's working. Hours of progress are being made within seconds. Well-behaved inmates get an hour and a half to play music. Alan's instrument is hiding the noise of the drill. Frank scoops up the concrete and flushes it down the toilet. Suddenly, Alan hears several loud thuds coming from the hall. A guard turns the corner. He is walking directly towards them. Prisoners call him Boots because of the loud sound he makes while walking. He's one of, if not the strictest guard. Alan somehow needs to warn Frank. If he stops pumping, Frank's cover will be blown. He starts playing the concertina aggressively, kicking the cell bars. But Frank doesn't get the message. He's still digging. Without any systems, communication between team members is impossible. However, Odoo makes that easy. It's an all-in-one management software for running your entire business. Whether that's sales or accounting, to building a website and much more, Odoo combines every app you could possibly need into one place, and you can start for free. One thing that's crucial when running a business, or even just doing personal tasks, is project management. And Odoo's project app makes that 10 times easier. First, create a project with custom stages, add the required tasks, then assign it to a person in charge. Set a priority and deadline so you can track its progress. You can also add a description, and for more complicated projects, break it down into smaller subtasks. If at any point a colleague has a problem, you can quickly resolve it through Odoo's built-in chatter feature, where you can send emails and log notes to tag your colleagues. On top of that, you can also schedule activities such as calls and meetings with your team or clients to catch up on a project's progress. Odoo gives you multiple views depending on your tastes, from breaking projects into stages by using the Kanban view, organizing tasks in a list view for batch actions, or using the Gantt view to see the scheduled tasks and their dependencies. You can manage your projects now at zero cost with Odoo's free first app offer that lasts a lifetime, including unlimited hosting and support. You can upgrade with an affordable plan to unlock every app Odoo offers. Use the link on screen, which you can also find in the first pinned comment and description below. Boots reaches Alan's cell. He looks him up and down. Some prisoners are good at playing. Most are okay, but tonight, Alan stands out as the worst. The prison runs on strict order. Anything even slightly out of the ordinary raises immediate alarm bells. The guard scoffs. He walks directly towards Frank's cell. Alan has no other choice but to make the loudest sound yet. Boots looks inside. "What have you got there, Frank?" he asks. "My new magazine." Frank is chilling in his bed reading. His concertina is positioned in front of the vent. If the guard decides to search, it will be over. Boots nods and keeps moving. It's the closest call yet. If they are to be the only prisoners to escape Alcatraz, they need to be much smarter. With steady hands, Frank drags his paintbrush along the canvas. He knows getting a hold of the materials for the vent cover is raising suspicion. To make things worse, the marks from the digging are getting too large to be hidden by the musical instruments. Frank cleans his brush. All the guards know that he is painting a canvas of San Francisco. But that's exactly what Frank wants them to think. Earlier in the day, he gave the drill to Clarence and asked him to pass on a message to the others. Frank, be ready. I have something for us soon. With it, they'll never catch our digging. Frank dips his brush into green paint mixture. He reaches down for a piece of cardboard. He stole this from his day job working in the brush shop. Frank paints the corner and holds it up against the wall. A perfect match. Hours have gone into blending paint to make this exact color. It's only with these fake vents in place can they finally finish the tunnels unnoticed. Things are looking up, but like all good things, nothing lasts forever. Frank stops drilling. After months of progress, the vent is ready to give way. He gives a pull and it comes loose. After months of work, he's finally done it. Even better, the others are not far behind. Tomorrow, Alan will join him. Everyone now has a fake vent and a tunnel that is over 90% finished. Frank looks around to make sure the guards aren't nearby. He squeezes through, crawling into the service tunnel. This corridor runs behind each cell. Without it, the escape plan won't work. Many months back, Alan was working here for maintenance. He told Frank there was a secret room and where to find it. He spots the location and breaks inside. This is the perfect place to build the escape equipment for the second step of their plan. Suddenly, Alan's music turns more tense and uneven. Their new signal that a guard inspection is coming. Frank has no time to waste. He needs to get back to his cell immediately. He hurries down the pipes, then runs down the corridor and shuffles through his tunnel. He hears the footsteps in the main cell block. The guard has already walked past Alan's cell. Frank places his fake vent over the hole and darts for the bed. The guard looks inside. He made it. Now they have the perfect place to start the next phase. But before they can start building the escape equipment, they need a way to fool the guards during head counts, to make it look like they're still in their cells while they work in the secret room. Frank hears the water and chatter in the shower room. Everyone's allowed to wash twice a week. He spots Alan and the brothers. "We need hair from the barber shop and mesh," says Frank. Suddenly, in the corner of his eye, Frank sees Boots pacing towards them. He moves back to his shower. The guard stops. They both lock eyes. "I'm watching you," Boots shouts. Many years ago, Frank was locked up in Atlanta Federal Prison. He watched for guard patrol weaknesses and identified the prison's blind spots. After multiple escape attempts, he finally broke free. But after a year on the run, he was caught and sent here. Boots leaves. "Clarence, I'll have it for you." Frank starts to walk away. "John, what for?" "Frank, if we're in the secret room during head counts, they'll notice. So, we'll each make a dummy head. That way, the guards will think we're asleep." John nods. This should give them all the cover they need. For the first time ever, the four men gather in the secret room. The cell tunnels are dug and hidden. Dummies are set in their beds. To build the right escape equipment, they first need to see what they are up against. "Frank, listen carefully. First, we push through the vent above us. That takes us to the roof of the cell block. Then we move low across the bakery smokestack and slide down the pipe to the ground. From there, we cross the road, past the officers' clubhouse, and climb two 12-foot barbed wire fences. From here, we head towards the powerhouse and reach the water on the northeast shore." Alan chimes in. all without the guards seeing. Yes, replies Frank. Swimming is suicide. On the shore, we'll inflate a raft and cross with life jackets and paddles. We just need to steal the parts. Frank and Ellen make eye contact. It's clear that stealing items to make the equipment will be their hardest challenge yet. Frank hears footsteps coming towards him. It's the librarian. Frank. Hey, I want to return this magazine. You had it for a week. It's not long, replies the librarian. All Frank needed was one page. Inside, it outlines how to craft different items out of rubber. It was a boring one, responds Frank. But this could not be further from the truth. Only 2 escapees have made it to the water. Due to the cold temperature and rough tides, they both died. Frank now knows how to make the most difficult escape equipment, the life jackets and raft. Librarian, do you want to get a replacement? Only if it's useful, replies Frank. After months of sleepless nights, he just slipped up. What do you mean by useful? Says the librarian. Never mind, replies Frank. He walks back to his bed. The book solved their problem of how to build the escape equipment, but his words may have set something far worse in motion. Frank strolls around slowly. Today is not about leisure, it's about preparation. During weekends, prisoners with good behavior are given a rare privilege, an hour and a half of freedom in the yard. A prisoner ahead of Frank drops his raincoat on the ground. He steps forward, picks it up, and quietly slips it on over his own. For the guards and prisoners, these coats are worthless, but for Frank, they are everything. Alan approaches. How many rubber coats have you got? Frank responds, right now, 2. There are 10 more in that secret room. Alan, we need 50 total? Frank nods. Enough to build the raft and the life jackets. Alan gestures toward the factory. We can steal more from there. But before they can plan further, Frank looks over at Clarence across the yard. He's picking up someone else's coat. One prisoner spots him in the act and starts walking directly at him. A crowd begins to form. With such boredom inside, prisoners will use any excuse to start a fight. Frank and Alan rush forward, trying to defuse the situation before the guards arrive. One wrong move, and Clarence could be sent to solitary confinement. Frank pulls off the second coat. Hey, I have this one, he says, giving it to the prisoner. The prisoner shakes his head and starts walking away. That was close. They cannot afford to draw more attention to themselves. The men gather in the secret room. The air smells of dust and hot metal. Frank presses the rubber life vest against a hot steam pipe. The heat makes them more durable, less likely to tear on the water. Plywood paddles lie on the floor, carefully shaped from stolen wood. Alan sets his modified concertina to the raft's valve, pumping a little air to check for leaks. One mistake will leave them stranded in the middle of the ocean. Ready? Frank says. Alan nods. Relief spreads through the men. Months of preparation, thefts, and close calls have brought them this far. Tomorrow is the big day. They leave the room. Step 2 is complete. Now comes the hardest part, getting off the island without being caught. Frank lies on his bunk and closes his eyes. Little does he know, a single mistake will cost them greatly. The final head count of the day is complete. Frank hears the guard's footsteps disappear. He places the dummy head in place. They have agreed to meet in the secret room only a few minutes from now. Frank crawls through his vent quietly. He waits for the others in the corridor. His heart beats rapidly. Today, he either becomes a free man or dies trying. In front of him, Clarence emerges. Clarence, where are the others? He whispers. They will be here soon, replies Frank. John crawls through his vent and walks over. Now they wait for Alan. 5 minutes pass, then 10 minutes, but he is still not here. At 11:30, the tide is perfect to carry them quickly to shore. The longer they wait, the more they risk losing this advantage. Frank walks to Alan's vent. He whispers, "What's wrong?" Silence. Then, "Last night, my vent was loose. I had to seal it with extra cement, but now it's locked in place." Frank gives it a kick, but Alan has been chipping away for the last 10 minutes. It won't budge. Frank has John and Clarence walk over. "You two stay here and help him remove the vent. I will prepare the gear," Frank whispers. He climbs the pipes and enters the secret room. The life jackets sit ready alongside the raft, paddles, and makeshift flashlights. He looks over at the raft. It's slightly deflated. Some of the air they pumped in from yesterday has escaped. Clarence is using a metal pipe from behind the wall to loosen the vent. They can't break it entirely, as it will be obvious to the guards. Alan is working on his side too. However, without music hour, he can't be too loud. The brothers look at each other. Do they betray Alan and leave him behind, or stay longer and help? Tonight is the only chance they will ever get. Clarence, "We need to leave. You have to finish on your own." Alan responds, "I only need a little longer." Frank sees the brothers enter the room. "Where's Alan?" Frank asks. "It was too noisy. We had to stop." Frank's heart drops. Alan is one of his earliest friends inside the prison. Leaving him now feels unforgivable. Clarence, "If Alan breaks through soon, we can wait for him at the shore." Right now, there is no time to waste. "The raft has lost some air, but that's normal. To make the tides, we need to leave now," urges Frank. They pick up the escape equipment and stand under the vent leading to the roof. Frank removes the fake soap bolt that he created weeks earlier. Then he pushes the vent upward. That's when it happens. Frank freezes, heart pounding. It's over. The guards have been alerted. But then, another bang rings out. Below, prisoners shout and pound their feet. The guards order silence, but the noise only grows. The inmates won't stop. "No point in turning back now," Frank whispers. They start running across the rooftop. Multiple bright spotlights sweep the area, cutting through the dark. A beam of light passes. Frank sees an opportunity and sprints. But the equipment is slowing him down. The light swings back towards him. Frank hides behind cover. That was close. Frank knows Alan will follow the same route, so he leaves a vest for him. If Alan can break through the vent, the vest will give him a chance to cross the sea. They keep running towards the edge of the building. Frank reaches the bakery drain pipe and starts to climb down. If one guard sees them now, a bullet to the head would swiftly follow. Frank has reached the ground. The others aren't far behind. Now they need to make it to the powerhouse. Staying low, they run across the road. They throw the equipment and hoist one another over. Frank leads the charge, racing towards the sea, his heart pounding. He purposefully chose this location as it's a blind spot for all the searchlights. He glances back, looking for any sign of Alan. Nothing. Now they need to inflate the raft. John keeps watch as Clarence starts putting on his life jacket. Every minute passes so quickly. They inflate the raft and carry it into the ocean. The water is freezing. It first needs to be tested in shallow waters. Clarence jumps in. If the raft sinks, they will need to swim. A near-death sentence in these waters. John passes the paddles to Clarence. It floats. Everything has gone according to plan, except for one man. Frank looks around desperately. He still can't see Alan. "We can't wait any longer." Deep down, Frank knows it. He makes the hard decision. "Let's go." They push off, disappearing into the darkness. But did they make it to land? Alan did make it to the roof that night, but he was too late. Unable to see the supplies left for him, he climbed back down into his cell and went to sleep. Alcatraz guards didn't realize the escape had taken place until the early hours of the morning. Alarms blared and search parties started looking in every direction. 2 days later, they found their first clue, a plastic bag washed up 200 yards off Angel Island. Inside was a wallet belonging to one of the Anglin brothers, complete with family photos. Then, a week later, pieces of a raincoat surfaced near the Golden Gate Bridge. After 10 days of searching in the air, land, and sea, the FBI officially declares that the men likely drowned. However, without any bodies, the investigation still remains open until today. As the news broke, rumors started to circulate. Witnesses claiming to spot Frank in Oklahoma, Indiana, and Ohio. As for the Anglin brothers, no one knows if they ever saw their mother again. Yet, every Mother's Day, she received flowers from an anonymous source until her death in 1973. At her funeral, it was reported that 2 unknown women in heavy makeup stood in mourning from a distance, with bystanders saying that both had a very similar resemblance to John and Clarence in disguise.